What is up, gamers? Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to a very interesting video here on the channel I've been waiting to do for quite some time, and I finally can because I do have examples out there, and finally enough of them to actually make the argument I've been wanting to make. That is, yes, the fact that pro players out there, or gamers, avoiding girls to pursue esports or pursue further promanship in esports as well. We now have three very prominent examples, each one having their own story, their own lead up, and some of these players were either forced, some actually did it by their own choice as well. We do now have officially pro esports players avoiding girls and girlfriends to pursue being a pro in esports. So let's break it down, guys. The first and foremost, I'm sure you guys know the first example, that being the most notorious, the most viral one, that being former FaZe Censor, now in Call of Duty League, who, by the way, broke up with his girlfriend to pursue Call of Duty and being a pro yet again. And it worked. And I mean, this relationship was viewed by millions. If you guys have not heard about Yannet Garcia and FaZe Censor, well, then you probably haven't been around YouTube for too long, because they were the talk of the town over the past year to 2 years while they were together. That being, yes, that somehow a gamer got a very, very good-looking and attractive woman out there who went on to be one of Mexico's most well-known, I would say, news anchors, and that was actually a big rift for their relationship. It was actually Censor who eventually did come forward and say, yes, they were breaking up, and this first primary reason for doing so was to pursue Call of Duty and returning to being a pro in the scene, which, by the way, has gone full circle. He's now on the New York Subliners as a substitute player. He will be in the Call of Duty League, so you can ultimately say it did work out for the guy. He really put the grind on. There's a gigantic debate about that, which I'm not going to go into. I will say, though, bottom line is he's going to be a Call of Duty pro player this year for the Call of Duty Franchise League, so congrats to him. And that first reason was because they were pursuing different paths in life. He wanted to be a pro gamer. She wanted to actually go to Mexico to be a news anchor, although later down the line he actually did come forward and say there was a bit more background to that, a kind of a, I don't want to be rude here, but kind of a gold digger like vibe he did get from her, as she did actually eventually start asking him for part of his YouTube ad revenue, which, I mean, to be fair, she was in a lot of his videos, but either way that did further come out. But TMZ and all those sites out there, all they see it is a gamer guy breaking up with a very attractive woman to pursue video games as the nerdiest thing ever, when in all reality it looks like it's worked out for Doug. But we're not done yet. That's just the first example. The second example out there, all around ninjas in pajamas in CSGO. For all you CSGO viewers out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because over the past 2 months, it's been relatively quiet. Before that, though, it was actually former NiP member, and this does refer to old NiP members stretching back to 2014 and previously. One of those members was actually Fiflarn. He came back and actually opened up about this many months ago. We covered it here on the channel about old NiP management. I'm going to say old NiP management, and a lot of wrongdoings, I should say, a lot of fault on their end of things and negotiations and business dealings they had with all their former players, one of them being Fiflarn, who did come out about a girlfriend policy that the old NiP team apparently had, that being they had to ask permission to have a girlfriend whilst competing in CSGO. They actually were one of the most notorious lineups in CSGO history, with gigantic win streaks, winning just about every title at the time, and so apparently, according to Fliff and some of his allegations, it was players who had to ask management to have a girlfriend, and they therefore would follow up with approval of said girlfriend, whether or not the player had time for her, or whether or not whether they liked her or not. The details were not fully shed the light on, but yes, NiP, the old NiP CSGO guys, they had to ask permission to actually have girlfriends, and thus, yes, I guess they were in some sense or another pursuing games and being told to avoid girls. See how I fit that in this thing? And very lastly, the third example out there of pro players actually avoiding girls on their own regard. This one, the final one, probably one of the most notorious Chinese names when it comes to CSGO, that being BnTeT of Tyloo Gaming. Now, I'm sure you guys have heard his name. He's been out of the limelight for a bit now when it comes to Tyloo's fall off. Either way, though, it was actually in a documentary brought to us by Flora. Thank you. I will link that documentary down below, because with closed captions, a documentary with a lot of his school friends, his family, his old friends as well. One of his high school friends as well did come out and say very early on, when BnTeT experienced a lot of popularity through Instagram DMs and other social media platforms, yes, girls were reaching out, and he had no idea how to react to that actual interaction. Actually, more so specifically, he did go on to say that when he moved to China, he got quite popular in Indonesia, and girls actually started to notice him and DM him on Instagram. He didn't know what to do, but decided not to reply because it would distract him from the game. So therefore, a third example, guys, of multiple pro players out there who chose to avoid girls, whether they were coming on to him, whether or not they were rejected. Either way, these are pro players out there in gaming, and it might be nerdy to all of you, but this is a success story. I'm talking about some of the most notable names out there in esports who, by the way, chose to pursue games over girls. weird. Hopefully in the future, if you guys like these videos, you can drop some weird comments down below, because I really do like having these one-off pieces that no one else is doing. No one else is talking about all the pro players out there who are doing these weird things. If you guys have any other ideas, my DMs in the comment section, they are always open. Until next time, I hope you guys all enjoyed. NiP boys, Censor, BnTeT, they're all doing pretty well right now, and maybe it's because they avoided women. Maybe it's not. I have no correlation there. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Make sure to smile today. I'll see y'all back here sometime soon.